changes in the things that you're up against teaching kids in modern day America. Not a big Obama press conference watching on TV. I think he's a handsome guy. Not maybe as handsome as I am, but hey, this guy's a millionaire. He's the president. I love him. But what was really interesting is here we are only about 4 years later, and we're changing the philosophy of American education all over again. We just finished eating No Child Left Behind being the greatest thing since marshmallows over roasted fire. Now they're telling us it wasn't marshmallows, it was gumdrops, and the fire really wasn't real. So now they want us to do something totally different. We really don't know what it is, but we know it's going to be better than No Child Left Behind. Well, it really doesn't matter too much what's coming down to replace that, because we have to now fix whatever was broken that the young kids or the older kids have already been processed through with the No Child Left Behind. So what we're going to do about those children. And if it's all about testing and it's all about achievement, well, part of education in the learning process is the behavior pattern. You're in college now and you've made it this far because of good study habits, because of good self-discipline, not because you said, you know what, today I'm going to really start studying. Well, how do you do that with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn? All the great shows are. I mean, like all of the new shows are about to come out. Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy, all my good shows. I love series. I mean, so if you don't have discipline, you'll be on TV like this, you know. So in order for us to get a good regiment of young people who can actually learn, those tools and foundations that are often talked about, great teachers, great schools, pens and pencils, pads, notebooks, the latest stuff, means nothing if they do not have the self-discipline and the behavior pattern to sit still and realize that what they're going to be reading for the next 10 to 15 minutes can potentially make it easier for them to read 5 years from now for the next 5 hours. How do you train that? How do you change that? The struggle that we're having right now with policing, teaching, and you can call it the whole DCF syndrome, the social work syndrome, is nobody really knows what the exact solution is to deal with the young people. So when you're teaching, I don't know, an 8-year-old and they're going off the wall, what are you going to do in school? You're going to hit the buzzer, and will they have a panic buzzer behind your desk like in the 7-Eleven? Beep, emergency aid. You said, oh, yeah, man, things are going to be great. And you're going to hit that button, and they're going to come, and they'll haul them out, and you don't want to deal with them, and where does it go? Police come to you. Where do police take them? Police has to call up grandma, or mom, or an aunt. Now, the difference between what you're going to be teaching and who you're going to be teaching in 2012 and what was taught in 1980. In 1980, when you pulled a young person out of school or pulled them out of class, the mother or father were coming to get them. In 2012, chances are DCF is the guardian. Chances are the aunt is the guardian. Chances are the next door neighbor is, we'll call it the hood guardian. They're not really the guardian, but mom is like, I'm not dealing with them, so you got them. And grandma's like, she growing in her child. So your ability to try to connect, if that's your strategy to really get the most out of your students is to connect. I'm going to really connect with the family, and I'm just going to, I'm going to call them up on the phone, and I'm going to give everybody my cell phone number, and I'm going to call them, and they're not going to call you back. What are you going to do? You're going to go to the house and visit them. You're going to call DCF. DCF is going to tell you, well, we've got an open case, and you're a mandated reporter, and thank you. Say, no, I'm not calling to be a mandated reporter. I was just calling to just get a follow-up on what's going on. So you're entering into an active system of everybody trying to figure out what is the best angle to, let's just call him John. What is the best angle to get 8-year-old John from? Every time I tell 8-year-old John to read, he goes ballistic. I mean, he just acts up, he throws stuff, he does stupid things. And part of what we are finding, and this is what I found out working with young people, both as a police officer and a social developer, is that a lot of the younger, particularly your younger African American boys, struggle with reading. They struggle with reading. They struggle with reading comprehension. Reading and reading comprehension is kind of like the baseline of your ability to communicate. Like really, really communicate. And when I say communicate, I don't mean like, hi, how you doing, raise your hand. I'm talking about me able to tell you what I feel, what's on my mind, and express my emotions as, sometimes we say, use your big boy words, opposed to just outbursts and kind of like these repetitive statements. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And you have to understand that even many of your white students are now dealing with that type of environment, that type of culture where it's actually encroaching upon all of young people. So it doesn't matter if you come from Madison or if you came from New Hallville. You can go on the internet and you can just as easily be absorbed in that whole mantra of neighborhood thing going on as the person that's actually standing on a block. And you can actually program yourself to an extent, a lot of the young people do, because they want to be a part of that, they would say peer pressure, to be a part of that bigger thing. What happens is you're reading more, your young people are reading more Facebook, they're reading, watching more simple shows like SpongeBob where things are just little lines, little joke lines, little pun lines. Nobody's reading J.D. Salinger's, Nathaniel Hawthorne. Most of the young kids don't even know what Puss in Boots is. I remember the book Puss in Boots along with Peter Pan and all. And there was a whole series of books. Now there's a series of movies. So you lose that. You lose that ability to remember what you read. If you can't remember what you read, and then you as a teacher is going to now put that young man and say, it's time for you to read. You've really almost kind of highlighted his worst fault. That I can't read and I don't want nobody to know I can read, but now you just put me on the spot. I don't feel good. I don't want to do it. I have a headache. Can I go to the bathroom? You're going to see all of these kind of signs where the students will try to make a reason why they will not have to put somewhat their skills to test. What do? I know back in, I was